Graphical Solutions. So not all equations are easy to solve for values of x or y or whatever variable, and sometimes it's more helpful to graph our functions and see how many times they intersect to get our solutions and give us a rough idea of those solutions. So let's have a look at an example. So if we have an equation sine x minus ln of x equals 0, and we wanted to solve for x. Well, we might not be able to solve for x using this equation, but we could at least get a rough idea on how many solutions there are if we actually graph it out. And a good first thing to do is to separate our functions. So we'll add ln x to both sides, and we'll get sine x equals ln x. And what we can do is just analyze y equals sine x and y equals ln x and see where they might intersect or how many times they intersect to give us an idea of the solutions. So let's go ahead and draw our xy axis. And if we draw sine x in, we get something like this. And let's draw ln x in blue. And we're going to get something like this for our value of ln x. And just from the graph, the two graphs, we can see that they intersect only in one spot, and that has to be the only solution to the equation, whatever that spot was. And if you're doing questions like this, they might only ask how many solutions there would be to this equation here. And in this case, there's only one solution. Let's have a look at another example. Let's look at 2 cos x plus e to the x equals 0. And we've given a domain that x is between minus 3 pi and 3 pi, and we want to know how many solutions to this equation there will be. So in order to do that, the first thing we should do is separate our functions. So we'll have 2 cos x equals minus e to the x, and we can go ahead and graph these separately. So we'll analyze y equals cos x, and we'll analyze y equals minus e to the x. So let's go ahead and sketch these. So we're looking at y equals 2 cos x. So y equals 2 cos x, and that's going to be to 2 pi. And then we're going to need to go to there to go to 3 pi. So this gets us to 2 pi. And this gets us to minus 3 pi. So there's our domain for 2 cos x. And obviously we're going from 2 to minus 2 because the amplitude has been changed. And now all we need to do is graph y equals minus e to the x. Now, e to the x just looks like this, going through 1, so minus e to the x just gets flipped about the x-axis. And let's go ahead and draw that. So we know it's going to go through minus 1, and it's going to look something like this. And you might have to be careful if you want to. You could even test some values to make sure that the graphs don't intersect here. They don't, but if you needed to test values to do that, you could do that. And now we can see how many solutions there will be because we can see how many times they cross each other. So they cross 1, 2, 3 times. So there's 3 solutions to this equation over here.